Hi, my name's Rich, and today I want to talk about something a little bit different. I'm not talking about Dungeons and Dragons or writing a book. I want to talk about producing a book, publishing it online. And I know it's a bit out of my regular content, but I think it's something interesting and you guys might like it. So the first thing I did when I decided I wanted to publish a book online is that I made a list of things I need to do. I know it sounds super basic, but you can get a pen and paper, you can try and start writing this down. I used a website for free, it's called Trello, and you can list all of the different things you need to do. You can put time on them, you can make different lists, you can put like checklists and subcategories, things like that. But also, you can share it with other people. So if you're collaborating on a project, other people can get involved in it as well. And with this, I use this as a jumping off point to try and write down and establish what I actually need to do when producing an ebook. My plan was write a business plan, try and make it like a business, treat it professionally. And the next thing that I did was I decided to hit the ground running. I already have a small YouTube channel with like 3,000 subscribers and I didn't have any other social media presence. So I opened up a Twitter account and started tweeting. I think that if you want to be successful, it's not just about the writing, but the marketing is like 60% and 40% is actually writing and producing the book. So with social media, I went on Twitter, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's all different places. It all depends on your market, who you're selling to, which we'll get to that in a minute. But my strategy for Twitter was to find people that are interested in similar topics, focus on two different things, which was publishing a book and talking about Dungeons and Dragons. I find popular people that are already in the niche and send them a message, respond to their statements. And while I was doing that, I was also make interesting tweets as well, keep people updated with the project, and I wanted to try and get people hooked in by making some fun things, asking questions. And so far, I've been doing it for 2 weeks. I've got like 80 subscribers or 80 followers so far. But hopefully this is going to get higher and higher. It's one of those things, the more you tweet, the more you get a feel for the platform and the more momentum you're going to get as it goes on. So the next thing I wanted to say was document everything. I think if you're writing a book and you have an audience, or if you don't, then make an audience by chronicling the process. People are interested in the mechanics behind how the book is made. What are you thinking when you wrote this bit? What was your thought process? And it's 2021, so everyone should be able to record quite easily. You can use your mobile phone, you can use AirPods, anything. It's less about the getting everything perfect, and it's more about recording it as you go. They're not following you for the end product, they're following you for the journey. And then when you get to the end product, hopefully they're going to like it and buy your book. The next thing I wanted to do was list the costs. And because it's an ebook, it would be a PDF and it would be able to keep selling again and again. So there would be no stock involved. So that's a bonus. One of the costs was buying publishing software. So I picked up, I looked around, I saw Adobe, I saw LibreOffice, all these different options, and I went with Affinity Publisher. It looked like the best choice at the time because it was one-off payment. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. One-off payment, it works quite well. I've learned a lot of things about graphic design and page design from this, and yeah, does the job quite well. It makes it look professional. So I started designing the pages so they were like a A4 page size, and because of the nature of D&D books, there's artwork involved as well. Some other ebooks will literally just be text, font, that's all you need to worry about. But with D&D you think about the spacing, the paragraphs, the art you use, and you're trying to make it a polished product as well. I started out doing black and white mock-up, like a printer-friendly version. A printer-friendly version is what I call them, but essentially it's just black and white. So you have an idea of where everything is structured. And then you start adding color, you start adding art, and it starts developing into a proper book. Speaking of the art, I went all over the place with this because the nature of the book, I'm writing 12 different chapters, they're called subclasses, and I wanted to have artwork for each one. And initially I thought, wow, I want to get full color portraits and this was going to look amazing. And then I realized that that's expensive. If you're hiring a new artist and they're expecting you to pay you for everything, they're expecting you to pay them for everything, all of these costs rack up quite quickly. So I went from one extreme to the other. My next thought was, okay, scrap that. I'm not going to have any art at all. I'll just get a front cover and that's it. And then I kind of came back to a compromise where I said I don't need full head to toe artwork of each character. I could use icons. My first thought was Twitch emojis. A person that's good at doing emojis will also be good at doing small iconic logos for each of the subclasses. And I wanted it to be black and white so I could add color to it in the future, but of course it would be printer friendly as well. I wanted to go for something that felt a little bit Aztec. It was like big, thick, chunky lines, clearly defined. The main inspiration was Monster Hunter, the icons for the items you get. So with the art out of the way, I contacted one of my friends. Thankfully, she's a great artist and she was willing to take on the project. But if you don't have anybody that's going to do that, you don't have any friends that can help you out, try places like Fiverr. Or get in contact with people on Twitter. If you contact an artist on Twitter, you say, how much does it cost to get this commissioned? And it's out of your price range. You say, okay, thanks for your time. That's out of my budget. Is there anyone else you could recommend? And by doing this, you're also building up your portfolio of potential artists you can work with in the future. The next thing I did was make a website. Now, this was a very expensive part as well, but I got a domain name registered. I went on Wix, which is one of the easiest ways to do it. Again, I'm not sponsored. There are other options available. If you want to learn how to make WordPress or make everything from scratch with HTML or Python, then go ahead. But for me, my time was more valuable. So I said, okay, I'm willing to pay a little bit of money, get this thing set up and ready to go. So that was one thing I didn't have to focus a lot of my time and effort on, but I think it will be reaping rewards in the future because I can use it as a platform to sell things. I can also use it as a way to advertise myself. I thought about it more of a resume or a CV and less of a website where you would regularly go on and check the blogs or whatever. Because I think that's, while it is noble, it's very early 2000s, if you know what I mean. The writing as well is the important part. It's split up into 12 chapters, but I'm not writing them all. I have friends that are also interested in this, and I said, oh, can I hire you? Freelance? And they said yes, graciously. I trust them. I know that they're good at what they're writing about. And yeah, they're going to be doing a couple of chapters for me. And I think this is a great way to try and delegate. It's trying to relieve the workload on me. Because like I said, it should be 60% marketing and advertising and 40% actually artist writing the book. Think about it like this. If you have a product, then you can sell it. Making the product's the easy part. It's the labor of love. But when you actually start trying to sell this stuff, that's when you realize, wait a minute, I need to know how to sell. I need these additional skills. It's not just about making a fantastic piece of art. You could paint the Mona Lisa in your basement, but if you don't show it to everybody, no one's going to get interested. And then I want to talk about the marketing. I think the best thing you can do is get in contact with people, smaller micro influencers. And I hate that term, but it's appropriate here. People with channels that have got less than 1,000 subscribers and say, hey, I've got this new product. If you want a free copy and mention it in the video, then you can try and negotiate a deal in your own terms. But sometimes it's a great way for you to help them out and them to help you out. And a longer term, you're making connections. You're building up that portfolio of people. And I think that the social networking part is a very important part that people don't emphasize. They don't realize how important it is until they actually get into the thick of it and start trying to make a book. One of the best things you can do is make a press pack. What's a press pack? The quick way to describe it is it's like a little image that has your name, your details, your picture, and what you're trying to sell. think of it as an advertisement of sorts you would give to other people that are in the business. You're not selling to customers with this, you're selling to other businesses with this. And if you make a press pack for your book, for your product, you write a little bit of a blurb to describe briefly what it's about and how to hook people's attention in there, and then write press pack for yourself. This press pack can be your website. It can be any other form of social media. But if you can say to someone, I'm writing a book, they think, oh, that's cute, that's cool. But if you say, oh, I'm writing a book, here's my website, here's my Twitter handle, I have 5,000 followers, here's my YouTube channel, here's 5,000 subscribers, they think, oh, wait a minute, this person knows what he's talking about. He feels like it's more intricate and professional. The next question I want to answer is, where do you sell your book? You have the PDF ready to go, but you don't know where to actually start putting it. Well, the options I've explored so far is that you can set up your own website and you can try and sell through there, e-commerce. And there are lots of resources on how to set these up, but it's a lot easier than you first think. It'll take like a couple of days, but once you have it set up, you have a storefront ready to go and it'll be open 24/7. So I would advise you get on that as soon as possible. The next way you can sell your book is through something like Patreon. Now, Patreon is more focused towards the sort of people that will support you as an artist. So if you're constantly updating them with new content, they see that as more valuable than just saying, okay, 9 months, here's my book, 9 months, here's my next book. Keeping up with the fan interaction and understanding what your supporter, your community wants from you can be a great way to change the direction of what you're trying to write as well. The next place is Ko-fi, Ko-fi. It started out as just a place where you could just leave a tip for someone, leave $1, buy them a coffee, so to speak. But now they have a big range of things involved. You can subscribe to a person, you can open up a shop there, you can set yourself up for commissions as well if you're more of an artist or a freelancer. And I think that Ko-fi, while not the most popular and well-known name, definitely has the most robust and flexible variety of options available when you're trying to sell your products. So I would definitely recommend Ko-fi. Patreon has more of a brand recognition. People know Patreon, they're more reliable. And I think the last thing I want to talk about is Kickstarter. You can put up a Kickstarter detailing your campaign, detailing what you want to provide to people, and then try and get funding through that way. But the problem is, if you don't have an audience to begin with, then it can be very difficult to start promoting this. You really want to have an audience first, then go to a Kickstarter. That's why when you're first starting out, you're producing your first book, maybe the best idea is to focus on building up your brand awareness, building up your audience first, and then with the second book, you can start pushing towards funding. You need to gain the reader's trust first. You need to set up yourself as a reliable source of good content. And the value proposition there is that you're providing good content to them. They'll come back for more and more. And if you're sticking to just one avenue, that's very limiting for yourself. That's why I recommend YouTube, one other social media, if it's TikTok, Twitter, whatever, and your website. They're the three main core places I would recommend you try and publicize yourself. But, yeah, that's my thoughts so far. I've been doing it for about 3 weeks now, and the whole project's going to take about 2.5 months. And yeah, I'll keep you updated and tell you if there are any developments. But I hope you're with me for the journey. I hope you found it interesting. There should be links down below if you want to see some of the previews. There's a Mentor Fighter subclass, which is a pretty cool thing to mess around with. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Have a nice one. Bye.